professional scenario. It involves training on new skill, moving to higher job responsibilities, making career change with the same organization, moving to different organization or starting a new business. Today we have Dr. Kranti Priya Arundhati, who will be able to tell us difference and similarities between career development and self-awareness. Dr. Kranti Priya Arundhati is an assistant professor of English in the Department of Humanities and Science, Yale University, Hyderabad. She has a PhD degree in English language teaching from the English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad. Her areas of interest include material development, testing, evaluation. She has a sixth publication and has presented research paper on national and international conferences. Her major achievement till date includes coordinating a team of 14 resource persons for teaching training project under the aegis of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, state government of Karnataka. She is committed teacher who is passionate about teaching and engaging in research. Ma'am has conducted program on self-awareness and personal growth. Henceforth, I heartily welcome you, ma'am, and request you to take over.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're quite audible.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you for that generous introduction. And as it is clear that we will be talking about self-awareness a lot today, I will start presenting my PPT first and share my PPT and then get into the discussion. Okay. Can you please enable screen sharing for me?
Ma'am, it's enabled.
Okay, thank you. I hope the PPT is visible now.
Yes, ma'am, it's quite visible.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. At the onset, I would like to thank Lucknow University for giving this opportunity to talk about a topic on like self-awareness and personal growth. And I think this is the need of the hour also. When I was told to talk about this, I felt very happy because this is the need of the hour. We are all equipped with many things. We know our strengths and weaknesses, but we are never self-aware as such to understand how important it is to be aware of ourselves, how it can really help us in our career growth, in personal development, and all that. I'm just click on this. Okay. Yeah, so as the topic goes, I will be talking about self-awareness. My main focus is on that. Apart from that, I will also talk about how self-awareness and personal growth can really help us understand who we really are and know our potential and how it can help us further in career development, how to choose a career, how to go further in that career. I would like to, I know the audience, I'm not sure if you are ready to discuss right away, but I would like to make a note of certain things while I'm taking you through this PPT, because there are certain questions that I would like you to answer, reflect upon. Maybe if you have a pen and a paper, you can write the points down because they will help you in understanding the entire topic better. So first thing I would like to question, or I would like with the start with the question is what is self-awareness? We hear this term very often, self-awareness, but what is it? What is self-awareness? Is something that we need to think about. So is it defining ourselves? Is it defining our qualities? Is it defining how others see us, how we see ourselves? What is self-awareness is something that we need to start thinking about when you want to become self-aware. Okay. So I will want you to take a moment and think about the following and identify the areas you normally excel in. the ones which you are your strengths and you know that you're very good at. Think about those things. The areas you normally face difficulties, like your weaknesses or areas that you have problems with, and also the kind of people, events, or things you like the most, and the kind of people, events, and things you dislike the most also. The people or events that bring you happiness, similarly, the people or events that bring you sadness, the nature and openness you have with others. Before starting or talking about self-awareness, this is a small thing that you can do to have a self-analysis of what personality you have. So if you can list down, if you have a pen and a paper, you can do that, or at least you can think about these things, that what are the areas that you normally excel in, and what are the difficulties you face in general, what are the problems you have with, the kind of people, events, and things that you like and dislike, the events and people you that bring happiness and sadness to you, and the amount of openness you have with others. How free are you with other people? Keep this in mind when we discuss about self-awareness. These things do play a role. Okay. I'll just let you look at the slide for about half a minute so that you know what I'm asking you to think about. Okay, I'll just move to the next slide. So based on these elements only, I will be referring to a couple of definitions which are already available. I'll read about those definitions and I'll try to discuss about it. Okay. In general, the basic understanding of what self-awareness is. It is about how well you know yourself and you understand yourself. It is placed at these two levels. How well you know and you understand yourself. That itself is self-awareness in the simplest way possible that I can put it. So here, when I'm talking about knowing yourself and understanding yourself, it is about maximizing your skills. Why do we need to know and understand ourselves? It is about maximizing our skills. Why do we need to maximize our skills? Because it improves our judgment and help us identify different opportunities that are present for us. And this can be majorly for professional development and also personal growth. So the better you know yourself and understand yourself, the more opportunities you can identify in terms of professional development and personal growth. So self-awareness is again an understanding of the insights into what your strengths are, what your qualities are, your weaknesses are, your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, reactions, value systems, motivations are. So you know more about all these things when it comes to knowing yourself. So it's like becoming aware of what your hidden dreams are, what your talents are, what your limitations are also, your fears are, as well as the impact of all the external environment and context in which we work on these elements. So self-awareness is not just knowing and understanding, it's also how external environment impacts us in a way. Okay? It goes a little beyond that. So if you talk about self-awareness in another possible way, it refers to the realistic and accurate perception of one's interest. How do you perceive one's interest? And then the values, skills, and limitations, and the lifestyle preferences a person can have. Okay. And it requires individuals to take time to develop insights into themselves. So you need to have that understanding of how to develop that insight and how to assess yourself. What assess in terms of what is meaningful to you in your life. So if you can get into that stage, that is where self-awareness starts. So self-awareness takes your surface perception, surface understanding, meaning the basic understanding we have of our surroundings, and allows us to consider them more thoroughly. So we need to become more aware of our surroundings in terms of who we are, where we live, the people around us, the situations around us, everything, and then allows you to consider them more thoroughly. So it Overall, if you see, it helps you to make decisions that might sound difficult to others. So you come to a place where you can take decisions which are not very easy if you're not that self-aware. Okay. So these are basic definitions that I can bring about on self-awareness. Okay. So we'll move on to the next slide where I will be talking about why self-awareness. So why do we need to be self-aware also in the first place? Okay, and how will it help you in being successful or getting what you want or what you desire? So 7 reasons why self-awareness can help you succeed are: the first one, you'll know what your strengths are. When you start becoming more self-aware, the first thing you will realize are your strengths. And second, which is also equally important, is you realize what your weaknesses are, on which you can work, right? And then you will also know that you're only human. The moment we start becoming more aware of ourselves, we understand our limitations, our strengths, our weaknesses, and then we understand we are only human, meaning we are not some superhero that can do things at a go. We need to plan things. We are human and we have to do things on our own. You will be a better leader when you are more self-aware because you know things better. You will understand others better because you are very clear about what you are. You'll start looking at people in a very proper way and you'll understand better others also in a better way. You will work better with others because you start understanding others better, and you will better understand how other people see you. Here, other people seeing you is how they perceive you, how they look at you, what are their understanding of you. Okay, you will understand how they perceive you. So these are the 7 reasons why self-awareness can help you succeed. The moment you achieve these things, meaning the moment you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you know you can do better, you know others better, you can work better with others, and you know how others see you, automatically your path towards success begins. Fine. So with these things in mind, I would bring you to a few questions later. But before that, I would like to point out how deep and meaningful awareness, self-awareness, involves what you need to recognize. Okay, when you are in a process of deep, meaningful awareness, or the way you look at yourself, you need to understand certain things. You need to recognize a few things also. So the first that I've put is how to react to different situations. You need to understand, you need to recognize how you react in different situations. That tells you about your personality. You also need to understand what triggers habitual responses for you, meaning what triggers how you react to something, how you respond to someone or some situation. Okay, so how you react to certain triggers is what you need to recognize. How you relate to other people is a third aspect that you need to recognize as well, because how you relate to other people defines how they see you as well. Again, the next element is why you feel the way you do towards certain individuals. You need to recognize why certain people are more important, why certain are not, how do you perceive them, how they perceive you. These elements need to be recognized. You also need to understand or recognize your attitude towards various topics. How are you sensitive towards certain topics? How is that you are very strong in terms of certain topics, or you are not affected by certain topics? So you need to understand, you need to recognize these things within yourself. You need to understand how you or your attitude towards certain topics is. Okay? And also you need to you need to recognize how you respond to other people, how you talk to others, how do you address others. All that comes into play when you're talking about self-awareness. And finally, you need to recognize how other people perceive you, how other people see you. Here, I would like to say this here is where self-awareness comes into twofold. Like one is called internal self-awareness or an external self-awareness. While the above elements talk about internal self-awareness, where you are talking about being aware from your own self, looking at yourself from your perspective, understanding yourself. Whereas external self-awareness is a little different, where you start seeing how people see you, how people understand you, how they react to what you say. So these things come in this external way. So how people perceive you again depends on how you portray yourself. So it is kind of in control in your own way. You can control on how people perceive you. Okay, there is a slight element of that. I'm not saying you can control 100% on how people are see you, but yes, how you behave, how you react to things, how you see yourself and present yourself does have an impact on how people perceive you. So you need to understand and recognize these things within yourself before stepping into deep, meaningful awareness. And that is only when you fulfill these elements that you have a deep and meaningful awareness of yourself. Okay. Here I'll do one thing. I'll just talk about a short story for you. Like I'll tell you a short story. This is about four students that wanted to try meditation. Okay, they wanted to see if they can practice meditation, and they decided to observe a vow of silence for 7 days. Okay. And in this process, for the first day, everything was perfect. They were trying to continue this vow of silence for 7 days. And in this first day, it went very well. And everyone was silent. They were quiet, and they were able to meditate enough. And when the night fell, what happened is one of the students could not help but notice that the lamps nearby were becoming dim. This is a small example I'm giving you. Without thinking, the first student, when he noticed that the lamps were becoming dull, without thinking, he blurted to one of the assistants over there, please fuel the lamp. He asked them to please fuel the lamp. His friend, the second student, said, be quiet, you're breaking the vow. Okay. And then the third student observed these two talking and shouted at them, why are you fools talking? We are supposed to be silent. And when these three were in that conversation, the final fourth student, he commented, come on, I'm the only one who didn't break the silence. Okay, so if you see, this is how we generally, intuitively are. Okay, we aim for one thing, we aim for one element, and then something triggers us, we observe something and immediately triggers us, and we forget what our aim is. And then, as the first student did, he immediately said, can you fuel the lamps? And if you are the second student, what he said, be quiet, you're breaking the vow. He was trying to correct the first student, but he was himself making a mistake, right? So we become more concerned about others and what others' actions are than being mindful about what we are planning to do, or we are supposed to do, or we had hopes on us to do. And if you remember, the third student shouted, why are you fools talking? We are supposed to be silent. What is he doing? He's becoming more judgmental about the first and the second student. And he thinks he's right in informing them that they are supposed to be silent. So here, the integer nature of becoming more judgmental on others' actions kind of comes out. If you remember the fourth student's comment, he said, I'm the only one who didn't break the silence. When he utters that sentence, who thinks that he's being perfect till now, the moment he utters the sentence, his vow is broken. So if you see in these four cases in this entire story, it is about the innate nature of human beings where we forget what we are trying to do or what we aim to do, and we get disturbed or say affected by what is happening around us. So only someone who is clearly self-aware of what they are, what their qualities are, what their goals are, they are the ones who would be self-aware. Only someone who's self-aware would not react to what is happening in front of them. That is where the true nature of becoming successful starts. Like that is where you start becoming what you aim to be. So like this is a small story, but imagine that at a fuller level where we do that also in real life. We do react to certain things because you're not aware of what you are actually doing. So being more self-aware, more mindful is what is required. Okay. I'll stop the story now, and I'll bring you to the small slide where I will talk about how to improve the self-awareness. I've been talking about definitions of self-awareness and what goes into self-awareness, but how do we even start improving self-awareness? How do we even start being more self-aware? The thing is, when you are unsure about your strengths and weaknesses, what your career preferences are, what kind of jobs or sectors you might be well aligned to. This is just an example, okay? So when you are not sure about these things, you need to start to think about a few things. You need to start at some level where you question yourself at 3 points. First thing, what you did till now, what you were good at, whatever you did till now, what were the things that you were very good at? Where did you not do well? Whenever you start looking at the positive, you have to remember to look at the negative also. So when you are unsure about your strengths and weaknesses, career preferences in the professional setup I'm talking, in terms of being self-aware, you need to question yourself what you did in the past and what was good out of what you did and what was the weaknesses that you had or what you didn't do well about it. So once you start questioning yourself about this, about how you did in the past and what are good and bad about it, that is where you start realizing what your strengths and weaknesses are, which one would be the better career choice or preference, what kind of jobs would be better, because you start answering these questions, you start answering the entire question about which is the right way to go. So when you start doing this, when you question yourself about these three elements, I think there comes some clarity. So this is only one way of looking at professional growth or a kind of a career growth. So how to improve self-awareness? I think it falls down to questioning yourself, observing yourself, understanding yourself at a level where you know what your qualities are, what your preferences are, what your choices are, what your goals are. Okay. So this is where you can start about in improving your self-awareness. Right? Then coming to here, I will take you to basic questions again. Here, I will take you to not just one type of questions. I will take you to a different set of questions. Like, for example, this one is basic questions on how to know your mental stage. I will take you to a set of 5 questions in the next slide, probably on what is the right work plan that you can make or what work preference, and a set of few questions about what are the right values or life goals that you can set about, and then a few questions on personality and so on. So we look through these questions that actually can help you become more self-aware. And then based on these questions and what answers you have gathered for yourself, we will see how that can help you in pushing yourself towards what kind of career you need to choose or you need to pursue, you need to stick to, you need to go with. Okay, so you will be answering to these questions to yourself. You don't have to answer them to me, but you can answer them to yourself. If you have a pen and a paper, maybe you can write them down. Or if you want to just remember the questions and think about them, that is also fine. But if you can write down, it will be really helpful for you. So coming to the first set of questions, these are basic questions for knowing your mental stage or where you stand about yourself, or how much you know about yourself. The first one being, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses in the following thing? Because whenever we talk about strengths, we need to recognize our weaknesses also. Because if we know what our weaknesses are, that is also a strength because you know what to avoid or how to build on what is required to be like covered, or you need to pull up somewhere. You need to know those things. So what are your strengths? You can list down. And what are your weaknesses? You need to know these two to talk about where you stand. Third thing would be what stresses you and how do you cope with that kind of a stress? What is that stresses you and what do you do to cope with that kind of a stress? The next question you can ask yourself is, how do you manage conflict? What do you do when there is conflict? The next one is, what inspires you? What derails you? inspires you, what actually inspires you, what brings the best out of you, or what pushes you further, what derails you as well, what makes you divert from what you wanted to do, or what takes away what you want to do. How do you respond to authority? How do you deal with criticism? These two questions as well you need to focus on. If you're writing answers, please write one by one. Like you can make a point and just mention one point under each of them. It'll be better. Or I'll give you a moment to reflect on these questions once I finish discussing them. How do you deal with criticism as well? How do you take it positively? How negative you react to a criticism? How do you see when someone comments and criticizes your work, anything about you? Do you see the positive, or do you take the only the positive and leave the negative out? All that. And how is your communication style? What tone do you use when you speak to certain people? What style of communication do you adapt when you talk to people at a workspace and your personal life? So what is your type of communication that you generally tend to use? So please reflect on these questions. Maybe they will really help you in understanding your mental stage also. So I'll give you a minute to look at the questions. And if you're writing down answers, at least it is better. If not, please reflect on them. Just one point would be enough for each of the questions. Okay. So questioning yourself with such points which actually make you understand what your abilities are, what your trigger points are, what your inspiring points are. That is the reason I've included these questions in this PPT, because that is where you start with looking into self-awareness. Okay. I'll take you to the next set of questions now. Now, these are 5 questions to choose the right work environment. If you want to pick the right place to work, and you want to do it by evaluating the opportunities. So these could be 5 questions that you can ask. What job should I pursue? Should I accept this offer? Should I start my own business? Should I compromise or be firm with my position? Should I follow tradition or travel down the path? So these kind of questions, when you list down, that is where you were self-evaluating the situation about the opportunities that are in front of you. And then this is where you start becoming more self-aware of what position you are in and what you need out of it. Okay, these are only sample questions. You can always change them according to the situation. Okay, I'll show you another set of questions. 6 questions are there on your life goals also. So when you are planning for self-awareness towards your life goals, these are the questions that you can generally ask. If you have a pen and a paper and you're already writing, you can answer them, or you can think about them and reflect upon them. So when it comes to values and life goals, what does your ideal you look like? You can just answer it to yourself or write down. What does your ideal you look like? I'm not talking in terms of physical appearance. This would be the qualities that I'm talking about. Okay. And what kinds of dreams and goals do you have? And if you can list down 1 or 2 dreams or goals you have, why are these dreams or goals important to you? And if you can recognize these dreams and goals and how they are important to you, you can also write down about what is keeping you from these dreams and goals. What is keeping you away from achieving these dreams and goals? You can also rank around 5 to 10 of of the most important things in your life. You can make a 5 or a 10 list, and you can rank them accordingly, like career, family, relationships, money, life, love, or everything. You can list down 5 to 10 most important things in your life, and you can rank them, which also kind of gives you a little awareness of what actually is important to you, what is your priority, what is the least important for you, and so on. Now, once you do this, maybe you can think about the proportion of time you dedicate to each of these things. How much time do you really give to career, to family? You can actually talk about them in terms of how much time you dedicate, and that will also kind of tell you which is the most important one, what is your priority or not. These are only questions that you are supposed to reflect on, not that you will have a self-awareness result in the end, but these kind of questions actually question yourself. They ask yourself of your qualities, where you come with answers, where you know yourself better. These are the questions that generally help you in knowing yourself better. Okay. I'll show you a set of few more questions, and this would be the last one anyway, in terms of questions. Self-awareness and awareness questions in terms of knowing your personality. If you want to know your personality, you can start by defining yourself in 3 words. Okay. Ask yourself if your personality has changed since childhood. Define yourself in 3 words, what you are, and then ask yourself if your personality has changed since childhood. Have you been the same, or did you become a very different person now? You can write that also, yes or no, and ask yourself where it changed. Is it similar to either of your parents? The personality that you have now, is it similar to either of your parents? What are the qualities you admire most in yourself? Like, what are the best qualities? Maybe you can pick 2 qualities that you admire most about yourself. What things scare you? And you can also ask about, do you make decisions logically or intuitively? Do you take a stand right away intuitively, or you think about it and logically arrive at one decision? Okay, so these are the questions that you can look into. If anyone would like to respond, or we'll talk about these questions in the end again. I would like to know a couple of responses from you, what you have answered for these questions. Do they really help you in knowing how you are thinking about yourself, or how you are trying to understand yourself? We will see that in the end of this PPT. Maybe once I'm done with my discussion, I can come back to these 4 slides where I have questions, and we can answer at least one. You can check answers from you guys. Okay. So now that you're done with these questions, if you have answered them or thought of them or reflected on them, I'll take you to one small set of questions directly on self-awareness. Okay. So for self-awareness and career planning, you will have to focus on 3 major questions. I know I gave you these questions based on each element, like values, personality, profession, and a mental stage and stuff. But now I'm coming to a set of questions that will focus on self-awareness only. So the first question when you are planning for self-awareness would be, who am I? Okay, don't tell an answer to yourself that I'm so and so, not the name, not the area, not the place. Who am I in a deeper sense, which is a very big question to answer. What am I capable of? This is where your qualities, your strengths, your skills, your abilities, all that you can list off. Okay, what am I capable of? What you can do? What are you capable of? Many points can come under that. And what do I want to do? What is your future goal, career goal, professional goal, personal goal? So what do you want to do in the future? Where is your path going to, leading to? What is that you want to achieve, or where do you want to end? Where do you want to go in the future? So what do I want to do? These 3 basic questions are, in fact, the ways of finding yourself or understanding yourself better, or having a proper awareness of yourself in a better way. Okay. Over time, the answers to these 3 questions may change. Like, maybe your answers to these questions now can be a set of answers which are totally different on how they appear after 5 years or after 10 years. Maybe these answers will not be the similar ones. They won't be same in any way. But yes, when you question yourself at these three levels and you understand what you are, who you are, sorry, what you are capable of and what you want to do, that is where your path towards a future starts. Once you answer these, you can move on to the next stage. But that does not mean that it will remain the same, because you will definitely evolve as a person who you are. Your abilities, your capabilities will definitely improve. There'll be more, and what you want to do will definitely increase, because you once you do what you want to do, another element will come. Your ambitions, your goals will be much bigger. So this answer will not be stagnant, it will not be the same. But yes, how you move on, how you answer these will definitely help you in understanding yourself better and planning for a career in a better way. If you know your capabilities, if you know your abilities, and if you know your strengths and weaknesses, your skills and attitudes, that is where your career pattern starts. Okay. So based on these questions, based on what you understand from those questions, with that awareness that you arrive from those questions, what you should be able to do, what will you achieve, what will you be able to achieve if you are able to understand yourself at these three levels. What are the things that you may achieve by understanding these three? Once you are able to understand yourself or being more aware of yourself, you will be able to transform thinking habits and cultivate creativity, which is not a simple thing. That is, I think that is the biggest achievement. Once you start being more aware of yourself, you'll transform your thinking habits and you will start cultivating creativity within yourself. You will start to connect and communicate with others. Maybe you're already connecting and communicating with others at a better level. You'll improve in that area. You will develop empowering beliefs and habits, your own beliefs and habits. Okay? And you will make informed choices to overcome obstacles. It won't be an immediate reaction to something, or it won't be a quick fix for something, but you'll start making informed choices to overcome an obstacle. You know what to do, you'll plan what to do when there's an obstacle in life. You'll deal with fears and challenges in a better way. You'll create a personal vision, goals, and opportunities for yourself once you know what you are and you are more aware of yourself. And finally, you will balance roles, multiple roles. We do play multiple roles, be it in the society, in family, in the workplace. We do play multiple roles. So you will be able to balance these roles and manage your own time and energy. Trust me, the last one is not easy. It is, I think it is the most difficult one. If you can really balance roles that you play in the society, in this life, and you can manage time properly and your energy sources properly, that is where you will be successful. Okay, that is the ultimate goal in life. So with the help of the kind of awareness that you raise among yourself, like you will become more self-aware. These are the things that you will become more able to do, which is like the ultimate goal. And imagine if you are capable of all these things, your personal growth and your professional growth starts taking a flight. Okay. So I can put in two sentences about how powerful self-awareness can be. Okay. A self-aware person, when you are self-aware of yourself, might pick a career path that seems way too traditional. Okay. It can be otherwise also. You can pick a career path which is completely untraditional, completely new, completely innovative. But however, if you're picking a normal traditional path also, it can seem too traditional, yet stand successful in the current scenario. So you will be successful in whatever you choose as a career path when you are self-aware. When you know yourself well, you grow personally, your personality improves, and professionally also. This is where I would like to mention self-awareness. Don't think about self-awareness only for personal growth. It goes beyond personal growth. You know yourself, you grow personally, your traits improve. With that, your personal growth increases and your professional growth increases. And it's not limited to personal and professional only. I think it goes beyond. There will be a spiritual growth, there'll be a mental growth, there'll be a physical growth as well because you'll be more healthy. So it kind of reflects on every other growth pattern that you have. And in terms of research, if you see, there is one study that I actually came across recently, where it is stated that only 10% of human beings population is self-aware, which is which was really like I was absolutely stunned because only 10%, whereas there is so much of work going on in terms of research in self-awareness, so many programs being conducted for self-awareness, but only 10% is believed to be really self-aware of themselves. So that is one point I wanted to discuss. Anyway, we'll come back to this one. Research suggests that individuals can develop self-awareness by engaging in self-assessments and self-exploration. So what is self-assessment or self-exploration? Let's come to these 2 points. The questions that I've posed earlier, that is self-exploration, where you explore your own beliefs, your own qualities, your own self by asking a few set of questions. Okay, earlier, if you remember, I just asked you a few questions in terms of mental stage, right workplace, values and goals and personality and all. Those are the places where you can explore about yourself. Those are the questions that help you explore about yourself, to know more about yourself. And you can also engage in self-assessments, which are ways of becoming self-aware. Okay, so research suggests that you can either take a self-assessment of yourself or a self-exploration of yourself, and you can develop self-awareness by doing these two. I will show you a few samples of self-assessments also. Okay, and I'll talk about this slide where I'm talking about self-assessment. Individual assessment or self-assessment is anyway the same. So when I come to self-assessment or individual assessment, there are certain techniques that are readily available in the market in terms of either in the form of a book, or you have many Google, you can Google for these terms also. These are tests that can be run on yourself. You can take this test and say, this is how much I'm aware of yourself, or you become more aware of yourself by taking a certain test. There are tests like strong interest inventory, vocational preference inventory, or self-direct search. If you type these three, you'll get into a portal where you will take a test. You can take a test and understand your own attributes, your own qualities in different aspects. Like these three provide specific information on individual person, in individual patterns of interest, and are suitable and how what that are suitable for different occupations. Like they will help you understand which occupation suits you more, or which kind of work suits you more. I'll give you a sample of one of these three as I go through. So these three can help you in understanding those aspects about your occupational type. And you have other test types also, like general aptitude test battery, Myers-Briggs type indicator is the Rokech value survey, lifestyle inventory. So these inventories are they are made and tested and properly checked, and they are put online. You can check them online, and you can take a test for yourself and see how much you know about yourself, understand your strengths and weaknesses, understand the values that you carry. It's not that you don't know, you know them, but maybe you're not aware of the intensity of how strong you are at one place, or what kind of creativity you have, or how strong your creativity element is. So these tests help you to more like they kind of fine tune into what qualities you have, and they kind of tell you to which extent this quality is in you. Okay, so these tests can help you that. I will leave this slide with you, don't worry. So you can type them and check them later also. Right? So with this one, I'll take you to a few links also. These are tests that are readily available, but you can also go to these are research sites where they are making more studies on this aspect. So these are assessments that you can make on yourself. These are individual assessments again. So if you want to discover and research job roles and match them to your skills, like which skill do you have and what kind of a job is more appropriate to the kind of skills you have. If you want to find out about that and you want to know the preferences with Prospect Planner also, you can go into www.prospects.ac.uk/planner. That will help you recognize that. Or if you want to understand your personality type, With the iCloud Bars quiz, it is possible where you can just Google into click onto that link and go, and there you can definitely understand your personality type. And if you want to develop the skills and competencies employers are looking for, you want to know which ones you have, like which kind of job requires which kind of skill, and which kind of skill do you have out of all those skills. Then in that case, you can go into this readingac.uk essentials, media essentials. If you just click on that, you will go to this site where I'll show you this one. I'll try to, yeah, in the end maybe I can show you this skills and competencies employees are looking for, and which skill you have, you can identify from there. Or you can take a personality test from the Institute of Psychometric Coaching, where it will take all the details that you have to enter, and you can answer a set of questions there. You will be put it through a scale, poll, or anything like that, and then you can generate a personality reader meter where you will know what your actual traits are. Okay, this is also there. There's another one, which is Big Five Personality Traits model measures 5 key dimensions of people's personalities. This is one thing where you can look into 5 key dimensions of your personality, and you can know your traits in a better way. Or you can explore what do you know well and what you enjoy in the world of work strengths and quiz. This is also for if you are planning to take a job and everything, you can know your work strengths based on this quiz. Once you take the quiz, in the end, you get a report where you are informed about which is the strongest aspect of your profile and stuff like that. So that will come. So you can use that also. There are other things also given here. The few links are here. You can check on that as well. Okay, I'll leave these links with you later. Once the entire talk is over, then I'll leave the links with you, as well as these inventories also. And then coming to the next point, I would like to move from self-awareness to personal growth. But before moving, I would like to discuss one aspect, that self-awareness, you do not put self-awareness in the bracket and say, this is self-awareness, and if I have self-awareness, I will improve my professional growth also. There is no one-to-one relation to these. So try to look at self-awareness as knowing it all. You know yourself. And if you know yourself and you are more aware about yourself, what are the like there is no limitation in measuring if I will grow in my profession only, if I will grow personally only, if I grow spiritually only. There is no limitation on checking on that. It goes into multiple fields, or it goes into multiple aspects in this case. So from understanding yourself and ways of understanding yourself, try to go with the questions. If not, try to stick to these techniques that are already available, assessment techniques that are available, you can use them. Once you are in the process of self-awareness, once you start in the process of self-awareness, maybe you can look into personal growth. Maybe you can talk about personal growth. Once you are aware of yourself only, where you start to talk about personal growth. So what is personal growth? We'll look at personal growth in three ways. We will talk about it in three aspects. First one is, what is personal growth? How can you plan for personal growth? How does it even happen? And why do you need personal growth? Okay, I think you know the answers for these in a general way, but I would like to focus on what it is and how actually can you focus on personal growth, and why is something you already know. Okay, so coming to what is personal growth, it is an insight that can help you move forward in your life. Okay, so the more you know yourself better, you have an insight about your qualities and everything. This will help you move forward in your life. You can aim for anything once you know what your personality or your personal self is. Once you know what you are, that is where you can start moving forward in life, ahead in life, in fact. So here you can talk about career goals, family goals, financial goals, spiritual goals, mental goals. You can set goals for yourself in these different aspects. And that is only when you start being more self-aware, that you can talk about growth in terms of career, family, financial, or spiritual. But that starts at a level when you start understanding yourself or being more aware of yourself. The second point coming to how. I think for personal growth, you need to have a proper planning. You need to start with planning, need to be more aware of things, expose yourself to many things. Exposure is the second element. Understanding your skills, understanding skills that you don't have, acquiring new skills, all these things will happen. They have to come into force. And then opportunities, knowing what opportunities you have, knowing what you are capable for, all these aspects, and then developing a network or finding a network where you really can start your personal growth. So it starts with planning, exposure, skills, opportunities, and building a network. So this is how you stick to your personal growth. Okay. Then coming to why do we need personal growth? I think this is anyway a given answer. To achieve your goals, you need personal growth so that you achieve your personal goals. You produce more effectively. You become an effective person. You become more effective in whatever you do. You grow financially, which is again, when you grow, obviously, it will improve your financially, improve you financially, and enhance personal satisfaction also. I think this is that, though I have put it in the last segment, it is also one of the most important things, right? So, in terms of personal growth, please understand what it is and how you can plan for that, right? How you can achieve it, and then why do we need it? Okay. I will show a small pic here or a small picture on personal growth. See, if you see this one, you can analyze this one. So you need to, once you are focusing on personal growth, you need to understand what your goals are, what your plannings are, what you need to learn to update yourself, what skills you need to learn or what skills you have. You need to have a vision for it. What are the things you need to develop or what kind of creativity, training, motivation you need to find. All these things will be automatically start taking importance when you start to focus on personal growth. Okay. Just look at the picture. I think this is what I've tried to like this from there only. Okay. So once you talk about self-awareness and personal growth, you need to understand that with these two things in play, you have to achieve certain things. You have to be a better performance, show your better performance in terms of certain things. Okay, how do you get that better performance? How do you become better as a person? Or how do you become better in terms of your qualities, your skills and stuff? How do you achieve that? Okay, we'll come to that how. First thing, when you are focused on self-awareness and you want to grow personally, first thing that you need to focus on is knowledge upgradation. You need to acquire more knowledge. You need to know more things. Put yourself into continuous training. This does not mean formal training only, not certified formal trainings only, every kind of training. Okay. Setting future goals, you need to be more clear about what you want to achieve, what your goals are, how to reach those goals. You have to set your future goals. Taking new tasks, things you have not done before, trying new things, taking up things that challenge you, make you bring out your best, performing new projects, and the most important, effective time management. You need to focus on effective time management. You need to achieve that, in fact. You need to acquire new skills also. And constant innovation. Constant innovation is again a very important thing because once you yourself know your qualities and everything, we tend to become lethargic. We tend to think that, okay, this much is enough. No, you have to innovate things. You have to be innovative in many ways. And that should be constant. You also need to understand human relationships in a better way and continuous improvement. You can't stop at any place. You have to be a continuous learner. You have to know everything. You have to be continuously improving your qualities. Maybe you have a few set of skills you need to improve more, or you need to acquire new ones or improve the ones you have. So continuous improvement. So these are ways to achieve better performance. Okay. In terms of personal growth, when I'm talking about personal growth and slowly moving to professional growth, you need to look into these factors so that you have that element of growth happening in terms of personal growth. And also this will automatically reflect on professional growth. Once you are aware of yourself, it reflects on personal growth. Once you are working towards your personal growth, it reflects on your professional growth. Right? So I'll take you to this next one. 7 decisions. Yeah, I've listed only 7, but if you can make more, it is up to you. This is what I could understand. I thought 7 was working out well, so I put only 7 here. But yeah, after this slide, I was reflecting on this slide. I felt there were 3, 4 more things that I can add. So this will change according to your own understanding of it or your own perception of it. Okay, for personal growth to happen, these are the 7 firm decisions that you need to make for yourself. You have to set these decisions for your own self. I'll just read the comic over here, and then I'll take you to the 7 decisions that you need to make. If you see the comic there's someone talking about strengths and or personal, okay, himself. He says strengths. Well, gee, I have an almost superhuman capacity for self-doubt. So see how negative it goes. He has a superhuman capacity for self-doubt. So where would you see that? Is it a positive or a negative? What is the attitude that he is carrying? What is it that he's trying to convey? So when there's a question about strengths, he says, my biggest strength is seeing myself in self-doubt. I have this superhuman capacity for self-doubt. So that his strength really? No, I don't think so, right? So anyway, for strengths, for that personal growth to happen, I think 7 decisions are to be taken up. You can add a few more if you're really working on this. I've listed only 7 here. First thing, improve your awareness of yourself, which is self-awareness again. You have to improve awareness of yourself, meaning you have to start noticing or understanding yourself better, knowing yourself better, knowing who you are. Then, which is again understanding yourself. Improve your awareness towards it and then understand also. Next one would be working on your attitude. Attitude towards everything. Attitude is not just how you talk to someone. Your attitude towards work, attitude towards money, attitude towards time, attitude towards a career, attitude towards a choice you make, attitude towards a goal that you've set. Everything, work on your attitude. The next one that I could list is believing in yourself. So once you have these goals, you have to stick to it and tell yourself that you believe that you can do it or you can achieve it. The next one I could list is developing your skills. If you already have a set of skills, you need to work on them. This is something I've already mentioned, but I would like to repeat that if you have a set of skills, you need to polish them, you need to make them much better. Or if you don't have certain set of skills, or you need to understand and that you need to acquire them as well. So bettering the skills you have and acquiring new skills as well. And set your goals and know what they are, what goes into that, what you need to do to achieve that goal. What are the steps that you need to take? What changes you need to make? All those things do play a role here. And finally, I made it a final one. So I put hard work there because everything falls back to hard work. Unless there is no effort from your side, there is no possibility of anything happening. So hard work is again the most important one. Okay. So I'll show you this career planning thing that this is a, this link is opened. I have already opened it and kept it for you. I'll show you the PDF, but you can download it and keep it with you also. So coming to decisions for personal growth to career planning, what you need to focus here is once you are self-aware of yourself and you know what to do or how important is personal growth, that is where you start moving towards professional growth. And to move towards professional growth, you need to plan your career also. You need to know which is the most appropriate thing for you to be into. So a process through which someone becomes more aware of your own self or your own skills. Okay. A process through which you become aware of your personal skills, your interests, the knowledge you carry or what you know, the motivations that you have, and establishes an action plan to attain specific goal is where your career planning starts. So it's not only knowing or becoming aware of your skills, interests, knowledge, and motivations, but also you need to establish an action plan to attain a specific goal. This is how you start about going with your career plan. For example, with this context, there is the links that I've shown you earlier. One of the links focuses on attaining this kind of or sticking to this kind of career plan. So there is one link, this link, which kind of takes you to personality type discover careers that match your personality. So you can look into what qualities you have. If you start being more self-aware of yourself, you can easily list down your strengths or your qualities or your personality or your value systems. You can list down those things. If you can list down those things, you can definitely go to this site. I'll show you this link anyway. You can go to this one and you can match your personality or the list that you have made. You can take them, you can match them to the kind of skill and competency you have. You can match them to the kind of job or career you can choose, or the quality of a job that you can choose. So this is some example I want to show. I'll show it once I end my discussion. I'll take you to that slide where that PDF where you have a list of qualities, and those qualities, if you have those qualities, you can see which kind of job suits you better. You can look into that also. I'll show you that in a bit. So coming to career planning, if you see what happens if I put everything in a gist, if I put everything into one nutshell, career planning it again falls back to self-awareness, right? If you are aware of your skills, your abilities, your passions, your personality, your mental stage, your work plan, everything, your value system, your life goals, everything, all of these come into self-awareness. That is where you start. And then once you are aware of these things, you go on to the next stage, which is identifying your available choices. Once you are aware of your qualities, your abilities, your skills, your passions, everything, once you are aware, you move to looking at what are the available choices that I can make for myself. So you'll start from self-awareness to identifying your available choices. Once you know that these choices are readily available for me, take 3, 4 choices are there, you need to identify, you automatically start identifying fields requirements, which choice requires what kind of quality or ability or skill. You'll then focus on identifying the field requirements. What kind of requirements does that choice or that field has? And based on that requirement, you match it to your skills. And once you match it to your skills, that is where you know where your career or your professional goal needs to go. Once you identify these field requirements, you need to go to setting specific goals. Setting specific goals in the sense you need to know what exact quality a particular job has. This is an example again. What particular quality a job has, and what particular qualities do you have? Does that match? Does this job have what I am seeking? Does it meet the goal? You have to check on it, not the overall goal. You have to start checking on the sub goals. So you have to go with that again. And once you are aware of those things, you need to learn, practice, develop, and evaluate yourself. That is where it would lead to. Okay. I'll stop this discussion with PPT and I'll take you to the link that I've told you. I have 2 of them right away. I can show you one after the other. Okay. Coming to the first one, skills and competencies. Yeah, I need to share that slide, so I'll stop sharing this one. Please let me know when you can see skill and competency slide. Can you see this one, PDF?
Yes, ma'am, it's quite visible.
Okay. Okay, this is skills and competencies employees look for. So this is the one which I was referring to earlier in the slide where I talked about a few qualities that you have They can be put into one category of competency, and that competency, if you have, you are suitable for that kind of a job. So if you are aware of your qualities, this only happens at a level where you become aware of your own qualities, your own self. You know your strengths and weaknesses, your attitudes, your attributes, everything. Once you know that list, you can make a list of all those things. For making that list, again, you can refer to the questions that I've asked earlier, or the slides where I've given you those links, uh, the direct Google links that I've pasted. You can click onto those and you can identify your traits. Once you have them, you can come to this one where skills and competencies employees look for can be referred to. So in this one, if you see, I'll just scroll down, I'll show you that. Uh, these are the list of competencies that this particular PDF has. So you can look into first one, if you see achievement orientation. If this is the quality that a company looks for, then you should be a person who has these qualities, these traits. So you accept it, tight deadlines, you act on that on your own initiative and would be promoted, act on minimizing this. And these are qualities anyway. I'll just scroll through. So examples of application interview questions also. So if you have, they have this kind of requirement, these are the qualities they'll be looking for, and these are the questions, possible questions you might be asked for. So for commercial awareness, there are many. These are the finalists. Anyway, I'll show you this one. These two are the list of any the competencies that are listed in this PDF. Or if you say creativity and innovation, if someone is looking for someone, a candidate who is more creative and innovative, so these are the qualities they'll be looking for, and these are the questions possible that will pop up there in the interview. So you need to identify if these qualities are within you. Okay. Or customer focus, if that is the goal, that is the trait that they are looking for, then these are the qualities that the employer probably will be looking for. Or decision making, okay, flexibility. For example, why am I talking about decision making and these things? So these, if I say these first bullets are the ones which are in terms of qualities, then you need to see if you have these qualities. Once you are self-aware, I was talking about self-awareness, you list down based on the questions, you will understand if you have these qualities. So do you have the quality to assess situations and alternatives quickly? Can you make decisions without referring to others? Can you commit self to others? Can you make decisions or on incomplete information also? Can you make decisions that may result in criticism? Are you daring enough to take that? Can you make quick decisions under pressure also? Can you take responsibility of your actions and decisions? Can you take the first step and start a new idea? If you have these qualities, your trait is decision making. So you have this skill. Okay, and these are the possible questions if a company is looking for this kind of a job, this trait, then they are going to ask you these questions. This is just a slide that just a one example I'm showing. There are many here. Flexibility, influence and perseverance, leadership qualities. Yeah, this is also sometimes required of students. When you apply for a job, they'll check your leadership qualities also. Even if you want to check, not for the employer, you can check if you have these qualities within you. If you have these qualities, you have the leadership quality. Okay, so you can go through this PDF and check on the qualities that you have. If you're very good at oral communication, are you expressive and interesting to listen to? Explain terminology in appropriate language, keep to the point, make fluid and well organized contributions, retain the audience's attention, speak confidently and articulately without hesitation, use different approaches that are appropriate to people or situation, vary in terms of tone and intonation, speak clearly and audibly. If you have these qualities, you can say my oral communication is good. Okay, so these are again qualities. In terms of qualities, these are listed down. Right? Personal development, planning and organization. So these are qualities that you can check into. I would like to show one more PDF. I don't know if that is visible. I'll stop share and again share. Maybe that. Yeah. This is another one. Again, self-assessment for career planning. If you see, this is another of the links that I've shared already that I've shown you in the PDF. This is one again, where it is about career planning. If you scroll down on this one, you can click on those links and these things will anyway appear for you. When it comes to career planning, I'll take you to the test that I told you, that there is a test that you can take and understand about yourself. So this is self-assessment for career planning workbook. Okay, this is like a test that you go through. So the test starts here. You can list down your interests. Here you have to list down, write down. This is for your own knowledge. They're not going to generate this test and use it for themselves. I'm not going to certify you or anything, not going to give you a degree on this, but this is for your own interest to know yourself. If you want to be more aware of yourself and use that awareness, those qualities that you've recognized about yourself to plan for a better future, to plan for a better profession, then you can take this test. Okay. So your interests, you need to, these are discovery questions. These are general questions, but they do bring out some answers which will help you in many ways. Okay. Once you answer them, you need to reflect here, reflect in terms of answering these questions. And then your skills also, skills inventory, there are descriptions of what the skills are, and then a few questions on them as well. Again, you once you read the skills, you'll have this reflection that you have to do. Okay. Once you're done with that, do in terms of family and friend feedback. This is something that you can talk to others. This is where third person perspective or the second person perspective, where you look into yourself from another person perspective, comes into place. This is where you will look at yourself from the second person side. And the second person meaning your relatives, your friends, your third person meaning your employee or anything. So if you are talking in terms of feedback from a friend, this is where you will understand how they see you. Okay, how the other person sees you. So this you need to gather information about and then reflection on what you understood from these questions. Okay, you can ask what do you appreciate about me? What am I good at? What are my strengths? What kind of job career do you think would be good fit for me? Once they answer, you will understand that from their comments. You will learn certain things. You can list them down here. Once you're done with that, your values also. Values in terms of what it means is given here, definitions is given there, and then you can write answers to. You can categorize them according to list your three most important from those values listed above. You have to list three important on each category. Once you do that, you can move to another thing. So you have to go through this entire process. Once you finish this, what will you get out of all the reflections you made? What will you get is an assessment of yourself. Okay, you will be getting an assessment of yourself, which will help you understand which is the better future or which is the right possible future that I can aim for, or which is the right goal I can aim for. Okay, so to understand yourself, this is a self-assessment grid. Okay, to understand yourself, this is what you need to go for. So these are two examples of the links that I've shown you. I have put some 5 to 6 links. You can click on each of them. If you are really focusing on self-awareness, please don't forget to focus on self-awareness from this way also. Not only just answering certain questions which are in your mind and thinking that you are self-aware. That will not help you in any way. You have to put yourself through certain assessments which are standardized. These are created in a certain way that so that they are effective. So go through those tests, take those tests for yourself, understand your qualities, your abilities, your strengths, weaknesses, value systems, personality traits, all those things you need to understand. And once you understand, that is where you can talk about in terms of, okay, what is my personal growth here? How do I plan for personal growth? Since I know about myself now, how do I plan for personal growth? How do I plan for future growth? And then how do I plan a career growth in this? Or how do I plan a professional growth in this? So that is where you lead to. You start with self-awareness, but slowly you lead to personal growth and then professional and so. This is how it would go. Okay. Uh, I will stop sharing here. I think I have to stop sharing. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, for this informative session. We really liked it. We really got to know a lot about self development and self growth. Now we are open for question answer session. Anyone who has query in their mind can really ask the question.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask right away.
Good afternoon, teachers, and good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Deepshika Bhavuna. Ma'am, first of all, thank you for such an informative seminar. Ma'am, my question is, what are the peripherals should a person fulfill to consider himself self-aware if there is a first-person perspective?
Okay, what are the peripheral? Can you repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, what is the peripheral should a person fulfill to
Hmm.
consider self-aware if
Okay,
person's perspective?
in the personal perspective. Okay, from your own perspective. Okay, I think if in terms of first person perspective, not only in terms of first person, even if you talk from an outside perspective also, I would not say there is one scale or a limitation or a periphery that I could draw upon where I can say this is what you need to fulfill, this is what you need to reach to be self-aware. There is no limit on that. We can't say this is the boundary and this is where you need to reach to be self-aware. Self-awareness, again, if you remember from my discussion, it is again multiple traits are there, multiple things are there in terms of personality, value system, beliefs, models. You can put a list on them, and there is no one scale where I say, okay, out of 10, if I reach 10, this is my periphery, or this is the maximum I can do to become self-aware. So it is a process that you put yourself into. It is not about how which level or how much you reach. It is about the process you put yourself through, where you become self-aware because of the process, not because of the points or the level that you reach to. Okay, be it from first person of your own self perspective or the other perspective. There is no periphery that you can set because it's not a scale, not a test like the ones I've shown you. It is beyond those tests. And I think only after you understand yourself in a better way, automatically self-awareness has started. If that has started, that is the starting point, then that is good enough. You don't have to set a periphery or set a scale on which you have to reach and say, okay, chalo, this is the phase I'm at now. I'm self-aware to become anything. No, that won't work like that, I think. Okay. I hope it answers your question. Yeah. Okay. So anyone else? Okay.
Um, uh,
Should I? Am I audible? Okay. Any more questions that you have? There is
good,
one in the chat box. Yeah.
my name is Zoya Hashmi, and my
Thank
question is
you.
this. According to me, career goals are not like the short-term plan, like learning something to get a job. So, like how to see career goals on a broader perspective.
In a broader perspective. Okay. When you talk about career goals, definitely short, not short term, right? Because your career goal, not just a job that you take up, it's about a career goal. So it can't be based on a degree that you acquire or one course that you do or anything like that. It can't be a short term plan or a short term perspective. You have to build it on a broader perspective because if you have a career goal, it does not include the degrees you have. It includes all the qualities you build as you grow up, the skills that you acquire, the qualities you have, the strengths that you have, the weaknesses. All of these things, including, will form your career growth. Okay, so it can't be short term at any cost. It has to be a broader way only to look at a career growth because it's not just about what you're doing now or what courses you do in the future. It will be based on all that you acquire while you are growing as a person. So it will anyway lead to a broader perspective. It can't be a short-term plan at all. But if you're talking about a job, a particular job, maybe you can have a short-term plan. Okay. I hope that addresses Zoya, your concern about how to take it in a broader sense. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ma'am, I have to ask a question.
Okay.
Is self-awareness really a first-person perspective or a third-person perspective? Because how can we acknowledge ourselves to be self-aware if we don't check ourselves from the eyes of the third person?
Yes, sir. That is a good question. I think if you talk about self-awareness from first person perspective, it is internally, and third person will be external self-awareness. And it is, I don't think you can put it in that way, that it is only one way. Because if you said, how can we become self-aware if we don't check from ourselves from the other point, right? From the third person's point of view. I think I've already mentioned this in our discussion, how we portray, how we present ourselves, the skills and abilities we exhibit, they kind of frame our opinion or opinion about us in the third person. Like what we are, what we portray is what makes the third person decide what you are, what how they see us or how they treat us or how they address us. So when I talk about, it is more that you can control how they see us, not to the 100% as I mentioned, but to an extent it can be controlled. And it is not based only on self-awareness in terms of first person. Definitely third person plays a role, because once you know that there is someone looking at you in a different way than what you are, it does impact the first person perspective as well. We try to change ourselves for others in that matter. So it is not just the self. I think how we portray ourselves, how we show ourselves, or how we make others see us also plays a role. So it is not just one aspect, it's one perspective, I think. So it can't be only first perspective or third perspective. It has to be both. I hope that is the question that you have asked. Self-awareness only the first person or third. We can't end up seeing only from the other side, or we can't limit ourselves to seeing only from our side. It has to be a combination of both. Yeah. I would like to comment on Harshvardhan's message in the chat box. Me personally, I want to reach this point where everything I do because of my love for my people. No ego involved or anything. That is absolutely true. If you understand this, if you are able to say that you don't want certain things and you want certain things, that itself is a reflection. That itself is knowing yourself, Harshvardhan. So that's a great point that you have mentioned. Yeah. Any other question?
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, this is Yadav. I'm a student of electrical third year.
Oh,
And first of all, thank you for your seminar. It was very good. And ma'am, today I came to realize that there are still many things that I don't know about myself. Also, ma'am, when I asked these questions, which you asked us to ask ourselves during the presentation, ma'am, I came to a conclusion that now in these pandemic times, that we have become very lethargic, and ma'am, we have grown to become procrastinators,
yeah,
because
true.
that used to keep us in schedule, like our schools, our gyms, and other things that kept us in schedule have been closed. And ma'am, we have grown pretty lethargic and procrastinator. Uh, so ma'am, my question was that how can we deal with this procrastination?
Okay.
Or yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, coming to procrastination, I think I would address it similarly how I would address with a question like, how do I deal with stress? How would I deal with anger management? How would I deal with depression? It is the same question. How do I deal with procrastination? Because if you talk about dealing with these things which are actually hindering your future or stopping yourself from being your best, it is about knowing yourself again. It again falls back to self-awareness. When you are self-aware of your qualities, when you are self-aware of your abilities, your traits and everything, the moment you start to procrastinate or get into depression or dealing with stress or anything, you start to know how to handle it also. You start to know how to take care of it. You start to know what you need to do to overcome it. So being more self-aware is the answer how to deal anything, not only procrastination. If you want to deal anything in life, you need to know what you are capable of. If you know what your capabilities are, if you recognize, you understand, and you realize to what extent you are capable of, I think any issue can be dealt, be it procrastinating or be it any issue. I think conflicts, everything can be taken care of because you know yourself better, because you know yourself to the extent that you have the strength or the capability to deal it. If you know that much, I think that is the problem solved. I think that can help you. Okay. I hope it answers in a way. Okay. Yeah. Any more questions? Or
Yes, ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah, please go on. Please answer.
Can we focus on self-awareness more than career growth or vice versa?
Can we focus on self-awareness?
Self-awareness more than career growth or vice versa?
Okay. More than career growth. Focus on self-awareness more than this, or more focus on career growth more than awareness.
Yeah.
That way? Okay. I think you can start with self-awareness, and if you are aware of yourself, is where I was talking about your personal growth will happen and your professional growth or career growth will happen. So you'll start with self-awareness. Automatically, it leads to the other. But focusing on one only does not answer the give a solution to this thing, right? Because if you're only focusing on career growth and not growing in a personal way, or not growing in a emotional or spiritual way or any other way, what happens is you're restricting yourself automatically. So you can't grow or focus on only one aspect. You can't say I'll only become self-aware and not think about profession or not think about personal. Similarly, you can't say I can become I want to become, I want to focus only on career growth and not think about awareness in terms of self. So it goes hand in hand. It goes like both go hand in hand. And only when you start with self-awareness, I think the rest also fall into place. It is about knowing yourself. If you know yourself, everything falls into place. That is what is the final thing that I really wanted to convey also. And thank you for that question, because one does not end at one place. It has to lead to the other. Okay. I hope it is answering, though it looks a little like it goes around in a way, but that is what I would look at it as, because I can't say only focus on self-awareness, rest will follow. That is the starting point, which leads to personal, which leads to professional, and which leads to beyond. Yeah. Um, there is another message here. If questions are done,
Ma'am. First of all, thank you, ma'am, for such a good information about self information. I'm Harshvardhan Tripathi from electrical second year.
hello.
I'm asking one question about self awareness, ma'am. Negative drift can grip up us on without our knowing it and cause to lose focus on the things like the personalities, psychological state. Like,
Mhm.
ma'am, when we are doing something, we get from the result from, if we are doing seems like self-awareness about thinking that this path is not good for me, evaluating by myself, then ma'am, how a researcher can help us that the giving like this tests or psychological test or research papers that doing these things will you evaluate much more than we can self-evaluate ourselves. That time we are providing such sites and something new, then but how can that improve much as there's research that we can evaluate ourselves much more than that research by doing by such professors or something.
Yeah. See, the sites that I've shown you are standardized, or they are there after tests are done and they prove that these are sites helpful. That I have listed them, but they're not for any researcher or any professor. It's not like that. It is that you can use them as one tool. It can be one way of looking at yourself. In fact, you can sit down and list a few set of questions for yourself, and you can use those questions to reflect upon yourself. You don't need any ready-made thing for self-discovery or self-awareness. These are sample tools which you can also use to kind of know yourself. Like for example, they are based on a proper study. If I'm talking about the tools that I've shown you based on what a professor said or anything, they are based on a certain study which is conducted on a number of people. They are based on research done for a number of years, and based on that, certain quality traits were listed. And each quality trait you can go with one questionnaire or one assessment, take them and understand yourself. True. But that is not the final thing. That is not the only way of knowing yourself. That is also an additional way. So once you start becoming or start the process of self-awareness, these are like extra tools that can help you. But what actually helps you is how you start looking into yourself, how you put your questions. So these are questions which are there, which can help. Maybe it will only help a person, like a 40% help can come out of that. For someone, it can help to a 60% extent. Of someone, it will help, it will not at all be useful. But these are only extra assessment tools available. Other than that, if you really focus on self-assessment, I would only suggest you start framing questions for yourself. But for that, again, you need to do a little bit of study where you understand how many categories are there. Once you know the categories, you understand what kind of questions can actually help you bringing out the best answers. So these things you need to do a little survey with the study, then start self-awareness. That you don't have to focus on assessments. You can read books also. There are many books on self-awareness where you can read and understand how to go in that process, how to go forward, and how to question yourself, what things you can bring out. You don't need to bring one question from outside. Many questions are within. They are within you. You can just answer those questions and start the process of self-awareness. And when you question yourself, there itself the answers will pop and your quality, you will start knowing better about yourself, which will affect many other spaces again. So these are only additional tools I was showing you. They can help you in this process because we are still in the process of knowing ourselves. We don't know how many elements are there. But you cannot use them. You can also make a study. You can also understand how many categories are there. And then you can study on your, make it your own thing. It's not mandatory to use them. They're externally additional tools only. Okay, I hope that answers the query. Yeah, any other
Anyone
question?
else? Anyone else who want to ask a question? I guess that's all for today, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
for your
yeah,
speech.
thank you.
I'd like to invite Dr. Celine Kumar Bhaskar to pass on the vote of thanks. Celine, sir.
Thanks, Chiranjeev. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're quite audible.
Okay. As we all know that joy is the simplest form of gratitude, it gives me immense pleasure to have been asked to purpose a vote of thanks in a validated session. I, Shailendra Kumar Bhaskar, on behalf of Department of Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, University of Lucknow, extend a hearty vote of thanks to our patrons, delegates, and participants. I must mention my deep sense of gratitude to Professor Madhurima Pradhan ma'am for being so encouraging by her constant motivation to uphold the two-day counseling and guidance program. I would like to thank Professor R.S. Gupta, Professor in charge, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, University of Lucknow, for giving us an opportunity to organize this event. A ray of hope amid this crisis are the speakers of both the day of counseling program, who shared their precious knowledge with us of today's session on self-awareness and personal growth takeaways for career development by Dr. O. Kranti Priya ma'am for from KL University, Hyderabad, has certainly done justice with the topic by her valuable insights. Thanks to Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering for their collaboration to make this event a success. This event couldn't be possible by the effort of event coordinator Dr. Siddhar Singh and engineer Wajid Ali. I would further like to thank all the members of the organizing committee, faculty members and student coordinators for their immense contribution. I would like to give a special thanks to Ms. Komudi ma'am for her contribution to make this event successful. Dear participant, thank you so much for paying attention and also suggesting your opinion. We hope to meet soon in the upcoming intellectual meetings as per the plans of the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, University of Lucknow. It has been an garnering experience for everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your vote of thanks. We'll be ending the meeting in 2 minutes. So if anyone wants to leave, they can leave. Thanks a lot for joining in. See you tomorrow.